pain is not to surrender, give up or romanticize suffering, but to courageously embrace reality exactly as it is. By stopping the endless struggle against our hidden scars, we create a safe space for our deepest wounds to naturally settle. This radical acceptance frees up our energy, allowing us to pursue our true values and purpose. Ultimately, it is a commitment to extract every drop of wisdom from our hardest trouble so we can fully feast on life.
If you search for the academic work of Dr. Kenneth Pakenham, you'll stumble across a small historical quirk. You might find a beloved Irish-born linguist known for teaching English as a second language. But scroll a little further, and you find the focus of our story, the other Dr. Kenneth Pakenham. Both men dedicated their lives to education. The Australian psychologist didn't study how we process language. He studied our capacity to survive imaginable emotional pain. On paper, his academic record is pristine. Over 40 years of clinical practice, creator of the internationally recognized READY program for multiple sclerosis patients, and a leading global authority on human resilience. Behind those credentials lies a harrowing reality. Growing up, Pakenham survived severe domestic violence, vicious bullying, alienation, drug addiction, and the profound trauma of his mother's suicide. He calls his early life a trauma banquet. Faced with a banquet of that magnitude, the human default is the fix-it mentality. We instinctively try to suppress, fight off, or medicate emotional pain. But the internal world doesn't operate like a broken physical object. Trying to exert control over a mind that is spontaneously generating painful memories creates an oppressive, escalating cycle of suffering. The harder you fight it, the stronger it gets. To survive trauma of this scale, a person has to entirely abandon their instinct to fight the pain. They need a radically counterintuitive psychological approach. Pakenham built his core philosophy from his own survival and a psychological framework called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT. He calls this dual process eating pain and feasting on life. The foundation of this approach relies on a concept called the observing self. Humans naturally assume that we are our thoughts, or that our identities are entirely defined by our past trauma. Look at this diagram. It separates the mind into two distinct elements: the constant, clear sky in the background, and the aggressive weather systems passing in the foreground. Your core identity is the indestructible sky. Painful thoughts are just temporary storms. By using tools like grounding, physically connecting your senses to the present, a person can step back and watch the internal storm play out without being swept away. Achieving this observer perspective separates a person's core identity from their temporary experiences. The pain is still there, but it can no longer damage the sky it travels across. To actually neutralize those passing storms, psychologists use a mechanism called diffusion. The principle is simple. Thoughts are just text and symbols in our minds. They only dictate our behavior if we actively fuse our attention to them. This flowchart breaks down a 5-step practical method used to unhook from painful memories in real time, called SNACE. Stop, notice the thought, center on the breath, allow the feeling, and engage in functional behavior. This is eating pain. It's the neutral consumption of something deeply unpalatable. You consume it without struggling, allowing the energy to pass right through you. Neutrally accepting and making room for pain is the exact mechanism that causes its intensity to fade. Aggressive resistance is what actually fuels the suffering. Furious, when a person stops exhausting their daily energy fighting inner demons, they're left with a massive surplus. The next step is deciding where to direct that newly available energy. Pakenham refers to this next phase as feasting on life. It is the deliberate, active pursuit of deeply held personal values. In psychology, there is a strict difference between values and goals. Values are endless, lifelong directions, like choosing to be compassionate or adventurous. Goals are specific, achievable finish lines, like getting a job or running a marathon. Setting goals without anchoring them to values creates a hollow cycle of achievement followed immediately by dissatisfaction. Goals only hold meaning when they act as signposts along the endless path of your personal values. Pakenham proved these theories by living them. He healed himself using these exact tools, eventually documenting his survival and vulnerability in a raw, highly praised memoir. He then took those personal survival strategies and scaled them into widespread clinical applications. His READY program actively improves the daily quality of life for people facing severe physical decline from multiple sclerosis. He also pioneered the integration of acceptance and commitment therapy into university curriculums, actively training the next generation of psychology students to manage their own minds and prevent clinical burnout. Inner pain is an inevitable component of the human experience. By accepting pain, we gain the capacity to walk toward our values. We can't control the weather, but we always choose our path.